Konnichiwa. Hmm, not hello. Konnichiwa. That's how you say hello in Japanese. Konnichiwa. Let's practice. Ko, ni, ch, I, wa. One more time. Ko, ni, chi, wa. That's how you say hello. Konnichiwa. Boys and girls, I want to teach you a little bit about Japan today. I told you that we live in a country called America, and Kansas is smack in the middle of America. But if you go across our earth, I'll go across the globe because that represents our earth, across all this water called the Pacific Ocean, you will come to a group of islands called Japan. Some of the islands are really big, and a lot of the islands are really small. But on one of the biggest islands is this mountain. You see the mountain behind me? It's called Mount Fuji. If you notice, the top of the mountain is white and it's flat. It's not pointed like I think of mountains. The reason it is white at the top is because Mount Fuji is the tallest mountain in Japan. And that white at the top is really snow. It's really snow. It stays snowy at the top most of the year because it's so tall. It's flat because it's really a volcano. Now, sometimes you think of volcanoes that are erupting and it's really hot and lava would be coming out. This volcano is not erupting, but it's still a volcano, and it last erupted almost over 300 years ago, 1708, so a long time ago. If I lean this way, I also see a branch, and it looks like some blossoms on it. That's called a cherry blossom tree. Cherry blossom trees are all over Japan, and they bloom in April. So this is the month of April. So maybe in Japan right now, there are lots of trees blooming with cherry blossom trees. So we're going to do a little project today with Mount Fuji and cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms are so popular, and Mount Fuji is so important to Japan that they use it a lot in their artwork. Even this is a kimono. Can you say that? Kimono. That's another Japanese word. A kimono is a type of clothing that people wear, women and men. But mostly when they get really, really dressed up in traditional clothes, they might wear a kimono. I'll talk more about that another day. But I wanted you to notice that on my kimono, the fabric has cherry blossoms all over it. Okay, so today I gave you in your packet a paper that looks like this. If you already did it and already used it, oh well, it's okay. You can still probably do something with other paper. And I gave you some paper that looked like this. Okay, so if you need to stop the tape, you need to press pause. Press pause right now and see if you can find this. Wait. Before you do that, you also need to get a glue stick, a marker, black, some scissors, and I cut out some paper that looks like this. I had some colored paper and I cut it out into circles. These are going to be my cherry blossoms. So I'd like you to maybe get some cherry blossom paper. Now you might not have different colors of paper like I do. So you could make it with coloring with crayons, some pinks and purples and dark pinks. You could use crayons, you could use markers, but cut out little colored pinks and purples because you'll notice that's what a cherry blossom colors are. Okay, I want you to pause this and go get your materials and come right back. I am now going to show you a real picture of Mount Rushmore and the cherry blossoms. So you can see really what Mount Rushmore looks like and the cherry blossoms. Do you notice how white it is at the top? And do you notice the cherry blossoms? Okay, now what I'd like you to do, what I did is I took this paper and you're going to color the bottom part so it's kind of browns and blacks. I used brown and black when I colored mine, okay? You're gonna color this part They're the trees and the hills, so you could color them greens with greens. I only had one color green, but you might have different color greens. I would color the trees different colors, and those are the hills behind it. You could color the hills. And then this part is just some words, and the words say Mount Fuji is the tallest mountain in Japan. So color, and then push play again, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, now, when you're done with that, you're going to cut on the dark line. Do you notice there's a dotted line there? Don't cut the dotted line, because what you're going to have is a tab when you're done. So it'll look like this. It's a tab. You're going to fold on that dotted line, not cut, so that it'll stand up. So now cut out your three pieces, your words, your Mount Fuji, and your hills and trees. Pause whenever you need to pause, and then come right back. All right, now I am going to put glue on what I called those tabs, so that only glue on the tabs and not on my trees and hills or on my Mount Fuji. So that now when I glue just the tabs, my Mount Fuji looks like this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's flat, but the mountain stands up and the hills and the trees stand up. Then I just put the words, Mount Fuji is the tallest mountain in Japan, at the bottom. And you're done with your Mount Fuji. If you want to later, maybe, do you remember that drawing I had behind me before? You could maybe make a drawing of Mount Fuji, maybe later. All right, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to take your marker. Remember I told you a marker, and I want you to draw some just about 3 or 4 big lines with your marker on the back of your Mount Fuji. So big line and big stems. So mine looks like this. You see how I just did a few big black lines, and then I glued my cherry blossoms to my stem. I just did it on the back of my Mount Fuji. So I have Mount Fuji on the front, and I have cherry blossoms on the back. And aren't these cherry blossoms beautiful? Now, one last thing I wanted to tell you about the cherry blossoms. A long time ago, Japan gave as a gift to America cherry blossom trees. And they planted the cherry blossom trees in Washington, D.C. And again, in April, the cherry blossom trees bloom all around our country's capital in Washington, D.C. And you can see there's Mount Washington Monument. Remember, it looks like the number 1, and it's for our first president, George Washington. That's the Washington Monument, and you see all the cherry blossom trees around it. You did great today. I hope you enjoyed that project. I'll tell you more about Japan in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh, no, not bye-bye. Saranara. That's how you say goodbye in Japanese. Saranara. Practice. Sar-a-nar-a. Saranara.